All right, fellow coders, welcome to this next installment in our series where we are building a real-world web app from scratch using React on the front end and Spring Boot via Java in the back end with a MySQL database. In this one, we're going to be diving into a different view for our code reviewers. So all of our past lessons that we've done in this playlist on YouTube have been focusing on the student's view and how the student submits an assignment. Well, now that we're sort of, I don't want to say done that part, but we've hit a point where we can now flip to start to develop a view for the code reviewers. That's what I want to spend some time on today. So some background, our students, obviously, as you have hopefully seen in the prior lessons, our students are able to submit their assignments for code review. That's the whole point. They submit a GitHub URL and a branch so that the code reviewers can then review that code. The code reviewers will then need a custom view, like a dashboard that's going to show the code reviews that are currently have been submitted and waiting to be reviewed. In other words, are in submitted status. Then the code reviewers will be able to see the ones that are in progress that are assigned to themselves, and the code reviewers will be able to see ones that they have rejected that need to be redone or what needs some rework or whatever, bug fixes from the student side of things. So our goal here is to, like I said, to create a simple dashboard. It's going to look very similar to the student's dashboard, but this new view, it won't show all the assignments. It will display all of the submitted assignments. So there will be no pending submissions assignments shown, just submitted assignments from all students. And then it will also show those that are only that are in review and needing update statuses that belong to that particular logged in code reviewer. Okay, you shouldn't see any other code reviews from other code reviewers, right? Otherwise, that'll get a bit confusing. So that's the gist. Obviously, we're not going to be able to get to all of this today. By today, I mean in this lesson. But let's dive into the code and see how far we can get. So let me bring up the code and let's do a new view. Now, the first thing I'm realizing, we need to be able to log out. Let's do really quickly in the dashboard view for the students. This should really be a separate component as like a header. Clearly, there's a header that's missing here. It's obvious to me. But anyway, let's see, for the container, we should have a row that essentially will be the header. Actually, yeah, sure. We'll have a row, and we'll have just like a link. What will we have here? An anchor tag, a button, an anchor tag, href that will just point to itself with an on click that will essentially run a function that will nullify the can I say set JWT to be null. And then we can do a window location href to be /login, essentially. Now, this isn't really an anchor tag, though. This is just a span. That's all this is. This is a span element, right? With logout, and then we'll have some, so this will show, hopefully, over here. Oh, where'd it go? Why isn't that there? What assignment view? Oh, it's the assignment view. Whoops. Well, I mean, this is gonna need to be its own component, but let me put it in the dashboard. I put it in the wrong view. You should be able to log out from any page, but anyway, I don't want to get too, as always, I don't want to get too sidetracked here. So let me save this here. So there's a logout button or span. So we can put some styling on it to say, hey, when you have the cursor will be a pointer, so that when you hover over it, it turns into a little hand. And that should be good. And then I also want to, let's make this a div, not a span. And that way it'll go the whole, it'll do, take up a whole row. And then we can have a class name of deflex, and we can have it do justify content end. Boom. So that'll be on the left-hand side. So now we have a little logout button that when you click on it, it goes to the login page. So now if I try to visit the dashboard page again, good, we are logged out because I nullified the JWT, so we'll need to re-log in again. There you go, cool. We just did a logout button. I hadn't intended on doing it. Now, why I did that is because we want to be able to log in as a code reviewer. Now, I don't have a mechanism to do this at the moment, so I'm going to have to insert a user manually into our table here. So I'm going to add a row. Cohort start date actually doesn't matter. Password, we'll copy the password from up here and put it here, and the username will just be code reviewer. Code underscore reviewer. That'll be our thingy. Cool. Now we have a user there that we've inserted, user ID 2, but now we need to have an authority for it. So if I select star from authority, we need to add one more row here. So let's add another row, and here it'll be role, code reviewer, and the user ID will be 2. Boom. So now we have a code reviewer role in there. Let's see what happens. So if we try to log in now as code reviewer with the same ASDF passwords as our other user, it logs us in. Now the view that we're seeing is the student view, and that's because we have no logic yet to differentiate between a student role, student user role, and a non-student user role. So basically what we can do, I'm actually not sure yet. I haven't done any prep work for this video, as always. I want to look at the app.js. Is there anything that we can do here? Because the dashboard, it does a private route. But I kind of want to have some code here. And will I have access to the user's role? Clearly, I think what we need to do is we need to have access to the user's role inside of the JWT itself. So the JSON Web Token should probably have data about the role for the user, which I don't believe it has. So if we go to the F12 here and go to the not network tab, go to the application tab, and in the application tab under local storage, we have our value for our JWT. We can go and say JWT reader, Google for that, and do JSON Web Tokens, paste it in here, remove the quotes. And as you can see, all we have is code reviewer and then expiry date and then the issue date of the web token. So we probably need to add more detail into it. These are called claims, I believe, is the official word. So when we create a claim, when we create a token, we probably need to insert the role for the user as well in there, which I believe is an auth controller. So auth controller login does some of this stuff, and authenticate, blah, user, set password, generate token. So let's check out the generate token. So claims is a new hash map, and we say generate token, claims, and user details. So what is in do generate token? We say set claims to be claimed, set subject, issued at, expiration, sign with, and .compact. So are there any other, let me just put some line breaks here on our dot properties here, our dot, what's called chained methods. Can we set anything else? Set audience, claims, expiration header, ID, issued, payload, subject. Okay, so there's no official claim for, at least in here, for the, role. Okay, so we can't set a role in here, which is kind of odd, because usually when you have, unless audience, what's audience? A null value, this is a convenience method. It will first ensure a claim instance exists as a JWT body, and then set the claim audience field with a specified value. This will allow you to write code like this. Set audience you, instead of this. Set subject you. Okay, that's not really, it doesn't sound like a good fit. So essentially I want to add another claim in there, which is why we have this empty hash map, right? So it sets these claims here, and the hash map is just string and object. So with these claims, you can say put, so we can put onto this hash map another string, right? So we can say add a claim called authority, right? I guess authorities. And then we can have a list that we add in here. So we can say list of, let's just say user details dot get authorities, right? Which is a collection of granted authorities. But really what we can do is just say user details dot get authorities, and we'll just put that in here. Okay? So this way, I believe we should be able to put the collection of authorities into our claims, right? So then we'll be able to, that'll be baked into the encoded JSON Web Token when we want to use it. So we can say logout, and then we can log back in again, which will generate a new token. So code reviewer, ASDF, ASDF. So hopefully nothing breaks. Cool. And then this new JSON Web Token, if I copy and paste it in here, look, it's longer. That's reassuring. Boom. Now we have authorities. So ID, authority, user. So it's a bit too much. We don't need all of this information. But anyway, who knows? Maybe that is useful at some point. Really, all I cared about was the individual authority itself. So maybe what we can do is we could say get authorities dot stream dot map auth, and just say auth dot get authority. Or rather, another way to write this is to say what is this map? Granted authority. What's the name of this guy? Authority. What is the name of? Let's go to authority. Yeah. So you can say authority, which is the class, double colon, and then you can say get authority, I think is the name of the method. Is it not? Authority, get authority. Stream map, what's wrong with this? The type does not... Oh, right, because we're trying to... so we map it, and then we want to collect it back. Right? Dot collect... collectors.toList, right? So let's just do some structuring of our code here. Stream it, map it, collect it. So it doesn't like authority. The type authority does not define get authority, and that's because it's right here, get authority, but it's a string. So why is this upset with me? It's just a string. Why can't I do that? Because it's passing in... So if I say... I guess I need to go the other way. Auth.get. So if I do it this way... So what am I missing there? What is auth? It's something that extends... I guess it's because of the complexity of this weird wildcard character and whatnot. I can't do that. Anyway, whatever. It doesn't matter. Cool. So now let me reboot again. And let me get rid of my JSON Web Token by logging out. I'll wait till it boots up, and then I'll click log out, which will nullify my JSON Web Token. Now when I say code reviewer and I log in, I'll get a new web token here, JWT, copy, paste. So now it's shorter. And now in authorities, it just has role code reviewer. So that's what I'm trying to, I narrowed it down to just getting the role, because all that other stuff is kind of noise. I don't need to know everything else for this particular one. So there we go. So now we have a list of authorities, wonderful, or moreover, an array of authorities in our JSON Web Token, which we can then leverage and use on the front end. So the question is, how do you read claims from a JWT on the front end? I think I need a library for this. I had imported something. There was a React get claims from JWT. There's a way to do it. There's a way to decode, right? I had a I downloaded a package that does this for me. Get all claims from token. I don't necessarily want to have to go all the way to the back end to get it, although I might have to. That might just be the way JWT works, although that would be annoying. How to validate... get claims from JWT, front end. How to implement authentication. Authentication to authenticate. I don't care. I want to get React template. Ultimate guide to handling on the front end. Okay. I like the word ultimate guide, but is this going to be too beefy? So basics, login, client setup, silent refresh, persisting, forced logout, server-side running code from. I mean, there's nothing in here that really comes out, stands out. How to validate on the front end. Yeah, I think I had downloaded a package for validating. Shoot, there might not be a way to do it from the front end, which is, I think, not good. I think that's going to cause a problem. Because here's my thought, and maybe this thought process is wrong. My thought process was, hey, inside of this JWT here, we have the info we need, which is the user's role, right? We want to get the role from the JSON web token. And then based on that logic, we can say, hey, in here, JWT, or some variable, right? So we would define some state up here. We would have some sort of state const, role, set role, equals, use state, and then we would get, role from JWT and pass in the JWT, right? That would sort of be our method that we create here. And that would allow us to get the role, and then we can say, hey, based on the role equals, role code reviewer, question mark. Then we render one kind of dashboard, right? Otherwise, we do another kind of dashboard, right? So we would do the code reviewer dashboard here, which we would create, right? So that's sort of the code setup that I was thinking, right? But that would force us to have a method here that we could create. Can I create this method easily? So this essentially would be here. I'd have to say a function, whatever, that takes in a JWT, although I wouldn't have to take in the JWT because we already have it from the line before. And then we can say, get, role from JWT and assign via, set role or something like that, right? And then here, we'd probably have to have some sort of a, done loading thing or something. But yeah, the question is, can you get the claims? Can you get claims from JWT on front end? I'm writing an application front end, blah, blah, blah. I do not have a DB. When a user logs in with their auth, I get a JSON object back from all this stuff. I'm struggling with picking a strategy on how to handle user sign up. What should be part of the JWT body? So if we're talking about not only working, but about secure stateless authentication, you need to consider proper strategy with both access and refresh tokens. It's true, we haven't gone into refresh token yet. In case it expires, then you can... Anyway, that's a separate discussion altogether. There are sometimes three common claim type: public, private, and reserved. An example of JWT body payload can be whatever you want, blah. So there are three common claim types. So I want a public claim type. But I guess, so the problem with having, I guess, I'm trying to think of the security aspects of this now. So if the JSON Web Token claim type is public for the user role, potentially would it be possible for someone to hijack that and put in their own, claim type or whatever, right? I don't know. I don't know the implications of that. Although I'm not too worried about that because it's just my own app with I don't believe my users are going to be malicious. Famous last words. JWT best practice authentication. So I guess I'm not using the right search term. I want how to decode, JWT in React. Essentially, that's kind of what I want to do, right? I want to decode the token. Now, here's where people might yell and say, "What are you trying to do, you crazy person? You shouldn't do this." So anyway, it seems like you're using JWT to decode this type of token. You can simply use JWT decode library, for example, in React.js. Blah. Token. Yeah, so JWT decode library. Do I have that already? I downloaded something. Let me just go through all my packages here. Modules. Do I have something called JWT decode? There you go. I want this. So let me learn more about JWT decode. React JWT decode npm. Here we go. So I've already installed it. So here we go. Boom. That's what I need to do. Okay. I'm glad I looked at that. So here, get this here should do a JWT decode on JWT. And then I can control space. So how come I can't figure that out? It says no suggestions. So how do I import this? I guess it's like this. There you go. JWT decode, and then pass in the token, JWT. Right? And then const decoded JWT equals this guy. And then let's log it. Decoded JWT. Sweet. Right, code reviewer dashboard is not right created. So for that guy, let me just minimize my node modules. For the I'm going to copy this guy, and I'm going to create a new component, new folder. We'll call this the, what did I say? What did I call it? I think code reviewer dashboard. And then I'll create an index.js in here, paste in all this stuff. So it's just going to be a duplicate. But let me just get rid of, let me have a container here, container, and I'll have this, and then this button. There will be no button. There will be no button. And then we'll have some assignment cards, essentially. Cool. Now this div should be container, save. What did I do? Oh, I need to import container from Bootstrap, control space, and then save. Are you happy now? Oh, and I need to import code reviewer dashboard. So over here, code reviewer dashboard, control space to import. Oh, it didn't work. So import code reviewer dashboard from /code review dashboard. Ooh, and I need to rename that component as well. So that component, if I click on this, I called it dashboard. So code reviewer dashboard is the name, and it should export itself as code reviewer dashboard. That's some standard React.js stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, are you happy now? Still not happy. Code reviewer dashboard is not defined. So go back to app.js, code reviewer dashboard from code reviewer dashboard. Well, I beg to differ. I believe I have a code reviewer dashboard component. How do I, do I need to reboot? I don't know if I need to reboot, but that is odd. I feel like that should work. unless there's a typo somewhere in here. Always a possibility. Slash dashboard. Okay. But I believe this is not correct, because it should just have a logout button. So this looks like the wrong view. Is that because I'm not getting the... Oh. Because I need to check the dashboard. Object. Authorities. Here we go. That's what I was trying to do. I was trying to look at the details here. So the object, the decoded object, as you can see, we have this stuff here. So we have authorities and role code reviewer, which is in an array. So basically what we can do here is in the app.js file, now that, you know, this is sort of potentially working, the role, get role from JWT, we can say, so decode, so we want to return decoded JWT, but it's not a single role. So this should be, we should rename this to roles, set roles, right? Get roles from JWT, because there could be many. And then we can say return decoded JWT dot authorities, I believe was the authorities, is the array. Right? Yeah. Cool. So then here the code says, hey, for the roles, so if roles contains this, what you call it? Is it find? I forget how to find in array in JS. How do you find element? Inventory, return, find is cherries. So function, fruit name cherries. Okay, so basically we say find, and then we have the function that takes an input. So the input here is the role, and basically we want to say role, well, right here, equals code reviewer, right? That becomes the question mark that we're asking. So if we have a code reviewer role code reviewer in here, it will return true, I think, and then it will render this view instead. So let me save that and see if that breaks everything. So it doesn't look like... Oh! Ooh, that looks like it might be right. So let me change the... What is this file? This is assignment view. Okay, that's right. We don't need to worry about that. We want the dashboard. And so the code reviewer, let's just put a header here. We'll put another row with a column with like an H1 or something. H1. Isn't there a way to do this without, like, we say dot H1 code completion or something? I forget. There's a way to do that. There's some plugin or something. Anyway. Focus, div, class name H1, code reviewer dashboard. Ooh, ladies and gentlemen, that looks good. Code reviewer dashboard. Look at us. Cool. Let me log out. Ooh, invalid token specified. Well, yeah, I nulled it out. This was working before. Can I not? Is there a 500 exception? Is it failing on the back end? Where's my... No, I don't see any errors over here. Let me refresh. What is this? Where is this happening? Invalid token. Where? Why are you throwing this exception? So index and bootstrap 27 says invalid token. Oh, and JWT decode. Oh, there we go. So in other words, don't try to decode the JWT if don't try to decode the token if you don't got one. Where is the login assignment view app.js? So in app.js, we need to be a little bit careful, and we need to say if JWT, then do this stuff. Else, I guess you don't need an else. Just return an empty array, essentially, right? There you go. Cool. So let's log back in as the code reviewer just to see that everything looks good. Code reviewer dashboard. Then we can log in as Trevor, who is a student, role student. Student dashboard. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. Okay, cool. So as you have witnessed before your very eyes, we didn't get very far with our intended coding, right? Our goal was to create a simple dashboard. I guess you know what? We have created a simple dashboard. So there you go. I did deliver exactly, partly, somewhatly what I promised. But yeah, obviously in the next lesson, we will expand on the code viewer dashboard side of things now that we have the logic in place to properly redirect to the appropriate dashboard view. That's pretty cool. So thanks so much for being here with me. I always forget to do this. If you are interested in learning this stuff like the back of your hand, and if you are a little bit of a masochist and enjoy the pain and suffering that comes from learning how to code, and ultimately your goal is to get a job, check out our bootcamp. coderscampus.com/bootcamp will redirect you to this page, and you will be able to apply for free and see if you might be a good fit for one of our next upcoming bootcamps. Currently, as of the recording of this video, we do boot camps monthly, but you never know if it picks up steam. We might do one weekly or bi-weekly, or who knows. So yeah, if your goal is to get a job as a coder, if you've been learning this stuff on your own for a while now and you are frustrated and you don't really know the direction you need to go, and you've been doing this for like a year and you still feel like you're not ready, if you're constantly struggling and feeling, anyway, if you got the imposter syndrome and all that stuff, this is what the bootcamp helps to fix, okay? Because it's partially learning and it's partially accountability, access to amazing mentorship, live calls, community interaction, questions, and all sorts of back and forth between yourself and myself and our staff in the bootcamp. This is what we've seen really shortens the window of time that's needed to be job ready, as well as tries to fill you up with as much confidence as you can. I'm not going to lie and say you'll have all the confidence in the world once you come out of the other end of the boot camp, but it really does help to arm you with a lot more confidence than I had when I went out there in the real world to get a job myself. We have really high placement rate in the high 90s right now. Most if not all of our students are very, very satisfied with the boot camp and their outcomes and whatnot. So please do check it out. That's what it allows me to do these videos for you on YouTube for free. It literally is this boot camp. If it wasn't for this boot camp, I wouldn't be able to pay myself to make this free content for you, and I love to do this stuff. Hopefully that comes through in the video. I love to create free content for you guys. Okay, but I don't want you to get stuck in that tutorial hell loop where you're constantly just doing free tutorial after free tutorial after free tutorial. As much as I'd love to do it, that does not fulfill the purpose in my business, which is to help create the next generation of amazing coders, right? We can go to our About section, I think it's here, and I talk about my mission that I've been on for quite a while, which is to create the next generation of great coders. So that is my mission, and that is what the bootcamp fulfills. That is what the bootcamp does, is it will get you out the other end and get you into a job as soon as humanly possible. Okay, so if that sounds good to you, coderscampus.com/bootcamp. I invite you to apply today. Cool. And if that's not of interest to you, please do click above. You can subscribe to my channel and give it a like. That will definitely still help me as well if you are not in a position to do a bootcamp. Totally get it. That is the free way that you can support this channel as well. Please click on the big old thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel so you can get more great tutorials like this. As always, take care of yourself. Happy learning, and bye for now.